Yo, welcome back to the space in between. As I should say, we should be welcoming ourselves back to the space in between.
Might as well.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Well.
it's been a minute. I know it's been a minute. We've been in a real stagnant time, you know what I'm saying, with everything going on in our lives.
We college students, bro.
You feel me? We just decided to take a break from a lot of things, you know what I'm saying, with a lot of hard responsibilities that we've been having on our plate lately. And just sadly, this was one of them. You know what I'm saying?
And we back to it though.
But we back to it. We back to it. You know what I'm saying?
Part of the sun. We always gonna come back.
You know what I'm saying? So you know you got your, you know what I'm saying, your co-host, your boy Anthony, aka A-Dub, and I'm with my co-host.
Donovan, aka Dono.
And you know what I'm saying? We back at it with the space in between the summer session. You know what I'm saying? What the summer session is, it's just exactly what it says, exactly what you're hearing. It's just us recording during the summertime. You know what I'm saying? We ain't in the summertime. We got no school. Well, he don't got no school. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't doing no tripping, no burning, none of that. Because you know what I'm saying? We all out here still doing our own thing, handling our responsibilities.
Tight.
You know what I'm saying?
Tight.
But
shit.
just like any other episode, we coming at y'all with another episode about something that some people want to hear, that some people been searching for, that some people need. So yeah, we just gonna dive right into it. You know what I'm saying? Let them know what we got going on today.
Alright, so I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of a preface before we get straight into it. So I am gonna do research now for like just academic research and shit like that. And basically, I'm looking at like lucid dreaming. It's like intersectional spirituality and whatnot, and getting into like some deep topics. And as I was researching that or getting into like some background information for my research for it, I raised another question about people's fantasies and like just the idea of fantasy itself, not as a realm of like fiction or something like that, but people specifically their fantasy and the things that they are like. This is like their ideal life. This is like what they'd rather be. Like if a nigga was like, if I could choose myself, I'd be in the Elite Village right now as a ninja and with Black Ops. With Black Ops, it's like fantasies like that. And that brought me to wonder what parts of people's fantasies don't need to be fantasy, and what kind of parts of themselves make them have these desires to have these specific fantasies. Because you can judge a lot about a person by looking at what their fantasies are. If a nigga, his fantasy, like say he gets into VR and he can create an entire world he wants to, full body dive, right?
Yeah, full
body dive. He can do whatever he wants to. And the first thing that nigga gets in there and does is go straight to a strip club and have sex with everybody in that motherfucker.
Wow.
And no, I ain't gonna feel nothing from it, nothing gonna come out of it. He can do anything in the world, and the first thing bro does is go get a nut. You can get a lot from that young man, from that one little interaction right there.
Wow.
So basically, what we're doing right now is start with us. We're gonna identify some of our fantasies. Not like that, don't take it that way. You might have the gutter.
For sure.
We're gonna identify some of our
My mom
fantasies.
was definitely in that gutter with them.
You mind that? We're gonna identify some of our fantasies, some of our dreams, and then kind of roll it back. Roll the carpet back and try to work backwards to figure out why exactly are our dreams, are those our fantasies, and then kind of make it a little more specific how we can apply these ideas to our life. So you can go ahead and kick us off with give me a couple of your fantasies. If you could, what phrase fantasy is if you got into like I said VR full body dive, sandbox, you can do whatever you want to.
Do whatever I want.
Do whatever you want to.
My dream world.
Your
my
dream
perfect
world.
world.
Your dream world.
I ain't gonna lie, one of my for sure fantasies, you know what I'm saying, if I could have it, I think about it all the time. As we done said on this podcast before, multiple times, I watch anime, and I'm a real big anime watcher, you know what I'm saying? If you didn't know, now you know, you know what I'm saying? I might not look like it, but yeah, I'm a geek when it comes to this anime shit, I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? So, my first fantasy, I watch a lot of reincarnation anime, so basically I'm saying like if I had died, I'd come back to life, but as like a super being.
What do you call it?
Reincarnation.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
I completely different.
Yeah, so I'll come back as like not a super being like a god, but a super being as in like not human. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, people like, nigga, what? You want to be like an alien? Nah, bro. Like, I mean, at some point, everybody don't watch. I guarantee somebody don't watch Dragon Ball Z at some point. Y'all call it cartoon, but it's not a cartoon.
Some part.
That's anime
some
too.
Part.
You know what I'm saying? But at some point, you don't watch some version of anime. You know what I'm saying? And they were human beings. They just had like super abilities, and y'all probably think like, oh, superheroes? Nah. I mean, yeah, but at the same time,
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Thor.
I don't want to be Thor. You know what I'm saying? So like, I say I want to wake up in a world where I have superhuman abilities, like flying or super speed or like crazy comeback ability with dual swords. That's like my favorite. That's like my
You pull the dual swords out, bro?
Dual swords, you know what I'm saying? Just a world where it's just like, it sounds bad, but like chaos, you know? And chaos can mean a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? The first thing that comes to mind is people like, damn, you want the world to be destructive? I mean, in a sense, where I could use these superhuman abilities to be able to fight other people with no consequence. You know what I'm saying? You know, in this world we live in, regardless of who started the fight, you both going to jail. You know what I'm saying? But in this world that I live in, that I want to live in, my fantasy, there is no jail. And it's basically like...
Probably.
Taking the call.
There you go.
For sure.
So, I'm gonna put that in D&D.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what I was saying, yeah, so...
Things are solved. So what it sounds like is you want a world that is power, or strength is power. Strength is almost like status. Like these things are solved by who is stronger, who can overcome the man in front of you. That
Right.
shit.
Right.
That would be like a world you want to be living in.
That's the world I want to live in. So, like, you know, a world like Naruto, because I still be want to click up with some people, too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not fun unless you're fighting with people. You know what I'm saying? So, shit like Naruto, or like SAO, or like... Huh?
Kirito.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? SAO, or like Jujutsu Kaisen. You know what I'm saying? You just team up, travel the world, and just fight. That's like the perfect world to be.
It's a bunch of
it's
adventures.
violence, but it's just like it's an adventure. That's the big thing. That's the whole thing. Like, damn, nigga, you just want to get violent? Nah, I want to have an adventure. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? It's chaos, so it comes with it. You know what I'm saying? It's not fun unless you're risking your life doing it.
So you feel like the violence shit is a necessary portion to make it an adventure?
Yeah, it is.
So the root of it all, what I'm sounding like, is what it sounds like, is the adventure.
Yeah.
To have that, to have something new to go find, to go dungeon crawling, to go find the legendary sword of Zeldron, or some shit like that. And when you get in there, you got to go through a bunch of levels of different niggas, and then it's like keep scaffolding up higher.
See how strong you get, how stronger you get.
Test your metal all the time.
Test your metal, finding things that nobody else found before, or finding something that somebody else found. Be like, nigga, that's not. You know what I'm saying? Just basically like, I guess you could say it's like, what we call it when men just be going at it because of
testosterone battles.
Testosterone battles. basically that. I could admit that. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? But it's fun.
So let me ask you this. So in this world, who would you want to be? Now, you don't gotta like not a specific name, but like, who would you want to be known as? Like, if you're like an adventure, would you want to like build your character like be like Luffy to be like the greatest pirate, the most notorious pirate? Like,
I'll put it in a way that anybody can understand this, because everybody done seen this before. But I'll definitely be a vigilante.
Vigilante.
Like, I want to be a superhero where like niggas depend on me, they call on me, because I don't like that right now. You know what I'm saying? It's I mean, it's cool. I'm not saying I dislike it, like I hate it, but it's just like it just add another rock on top of my body.
Right.
So in this world I want to live in, I don't want that rock. It's my fantasy. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I'll be a vigilante. I'm not a nigga that people depend on, call on when something happens. But when I feel like it's affecting me, then I go deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Or like, I'm just strong enough to be able to deal with it as if the superhero that you depend on. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll say I'll be a vigilante.
Are you part of the FTK movement?
Fuck them kids.
It sounds like you strongly in the FTK, FTK cohort.
How you get fuck them kids for what I said?
It's fuck them kids is kind of a general statement for when people be like, people be needy and shit, bro. Fuck you, bro.
But that don't mean fuck them kids, just mean fuck them people.
I said FTK is just the terminology for that whole
for
movement.
the kids, I'm down for sure. They innocent, they ain't do that.
Right.
But if you grown and you got children, don't call me.
For sure. For sure.
That's just my fantasy. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely part of the FTK movement.
All
I
me.
will claim it right now. Part of the FTK.
For sure.
Okay.
He FTK for till the day he got.
Man.
Type shit.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Them niggas didn't do nothing to me, but you be damned. I'll be damned if I don't do nothing to them.
For sure.
Anyways.
So what's one of your fantasies?
My fantasies. My shit comes from reading. My shit comes from books. And when I read a lot of like Rick Riordan growing up. That's like Percy Jackson, the Kane Chronicles, just all the shit that comes off the back, all of his pen. And I say that because my fantasy wasn't exactly being transported to a new world, but finding like a second layer to the world I've been living in. To like find out that I am secretly the son of some foreign mystical god somewhere. Of like
Percy Jackson type shit.
Type shit, yeah. I'm saying like I had actually had like a second life, and I find out new and more layers to the world I'm living in right now. So like my eyes, I get like, as anybody who watched Percy Jackson, I get the mist unveiled from my eyes or something. I see like monsters everywhere I go and shit like that. And I start meeting other people who are also in the same predicament, situation, blessings, I'd see it in my eyes and in my life. And then we all just kind of like build and grow our adventure from there. And as I asked you about yours saying adventure, is because I think the root of mine as well is the adventure. And it's the adventure. It's one that have to like starting here in like everyday life. It's like kind of bland, and then trying to like spice up my life in these ways and that way. I'm thinking like, well, if I found out, nigga, I was like, I was secretly the son of the god of the winds, and then I can control the winds and shit like that, and I can start building that ability. I feel like that having more, like it build more work ethic in me, because then I'm like, I want to keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I want to build my ability better.
Type shit.
I want to travel the world because there's a bunch of things out there that I feel like I haven't seen. There's a bunch of monsters, a bunch of like mythology, a bunch of history that I never got into. I want to know who I am and like, you know, the history behind it. And the purpose of this podcast and why we bring it through fantasies is every single point I just made. I want to know my history. I want to know who I am, what's behind my name. I want to build my abilities and get stronger, build my work ethic. I want to go on adventures. You can do each and every single one of them things in your everyday life. We put all of these ideas into our fantasies because we feel like it's just for the stories, it's just for books. But in real life is drab. And you can't do that here. There's not that much cool shit to get into. You can see it on the internet and blah, 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 blah. And we got to be able to fly to then have a sense of like, I can do some crazy shit in the world. I got to be able to break a card in half with my bare hands to then be like admirable. You can do that shit in your everyday life.
You split a card in half.
Well, my bad.
No.
You can get the feeling you would get.
Hey, I think we got him. He gonna reveal himself. I think we got him. Hey, somebody come get him. That boy got powers, boy. That boy got powers, boy.
I'm supposed to come out like this, but boy, I ain't gonna lie to you.
For sure.
Everybody watching this motherfucker gotta go to.
Huh?
I was saying that you can get that feeling you would get from these fantastical things in your everyday life. You might not be able to do them the same way. Like, I ain't saying go fly or go try to break a car in half. That's me. I could do that. But you can still find what you doing?
Huh?
Huh?
I was just getting my keys.
Oh, okay.
I just like holding my keys, you know. You said everybody gotta go that.
And it's hard.
Type shit.
But while y'all here, you might as well get the knowledge, the gems that I'm dropping.
I gotta get something in my trunk.
At your trunk?
Yeah.
Oh, so you want to go in your trunk?
Nah, I just want to get something out.
You ain't gonna come out that trunk if you go in that trunk.
For sure. My fault.
Anyways, bro. Anyways, that's just the point of it. So I'll break it down more of like my fantasies and like why I think these are my fantasies. The characters in the books that I read and stuff like that, the ones that I admire the most, the ones that I respect the most, are the people that command respect. Like they just like they've moved their life, they've seen this, they've seen that, they've gathered knowledge, it's a repository of learning in this country or in this land, and they traveled through these lands for like 10, 15 years, picking up on martial arts here, and then how to control their energy and their magic there, and then they just are just like, they know everything, they've done everything, they had the experience, and they're just very wise, and they just, everybody looks at them like, that nigga there knows what he's doing, he's got everything under control, he carries himself very well. Those are the people that I look at, those are always my favorite characters inside the books. And because they're my favorite characters, I want to be like them, I want to act like them. And I feel like, especially when I was younger, I could only do this if something like these books happened. I found out I had a second identity, and that I had certain dormant powers that were sitting below the surface that I had to figure out. And like I had to be some, I don't know, being from the heavens had to claim me or some shit like that. But it's not exactly that. It's not so much. I can find them if I get up and go travel the world. Same way with any other book, travel the lands. I get new information from East Asia, or I get information from certain parts of Europe, blah 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 blah, like down the line. And I'm just gathering everything, all the experiences I can in this world. You don't have to make the fantasy the only fun world that's out there. This world can be just as fun. Well, I'm not boosting by saying just as fun.
I think you boosted by saying just as fun. Because there's some things that you just can't do.
Yeah.
Like I said, I want superhuman abilities. How the fuck am I supposed to I'm supposed to get that? But you can make it close.
Yeah.
You can make it close.
Yeah.
You can make it real close. You gotta stop, like he said, you gotta stop separating tangible things that you could do in real life from fantasy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta stop. Like my thing, I said, I want a world where people don't come to me as much for like help and depend on me about a lot of stuff. I mean, it sucks to say that, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I mean, I really do appreciate that people do that for me, you know what I'm saying? But if I really wanted to, I can make it in a way where people just stop calling me and like depending on me for certain things, you know what I'm saying? It'll be a fucked up thing for me to do, you know what I'm saying? Very disappointed in myself. I did something like that one day, you know what I'm saying? But it's a possible thing for me to do, and it might be an actual good thing to do, but I wouldn't know until I did it, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta stop restricting yourself from certain things just because you don't know the outcome that's gonna come from it, you know what I'm saying? It's basically what you make a fantasy for. You like, man, I can't do that here because I don't know if this gonna happen or this gonna happen, but what if it did and what if it didn't? That's when you start fantasizing about it and you leave it there and you don't apply it to real world stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta stop holding yourself back. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stop trying to control everything. You feel me? If you think it and you want it, make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Easier said than done, but you'll never know till you do it.
See,
you know what I'm saying?
think of it like this. What kind of things would you do and what kind of places would you go if you could set save points and you could respawn?
I got a limit?
I mean, nah. No limit.
No limit?
No limit. It's a video. Like your life was a video game. You could respawn.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Why would I not? For sure. like the most significant spots I would pick.
Yeah.
For sure. I would definitely leave a mark where I'm from, Houston.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's where my family and everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
Another spot I would definitely leave in Europe, in a sense, just because it's the other side of the world. You feel me? So like I could just go there without airplane and crossing water or boat.
Like
you know,
fast travel.
Fast travel. You know what I'm saying? I would leave one there. I would also leave one in Africa, and I would also leave one in Japan.
Well, Africa.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Just pop in your head?
Just pop in my head type shit. Like, I always, you know what I'm saying? Not always, but when I got to college and started learning about Cape Town and all that shit, like what Africa really is and not the image that the world put in our head, like it's dirt poor and
every single word.
Niggas hunt lions and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sad to say it, but I was a victim of that imagery, you know what I'm saying, until I got to college. You know what I'm saying? So, ever since I started learning about Cape Town and how beautiful it is, and how they got cities and buildings just like in America, I was just like, I start fantasizing about shit like this. So like, yeah, I'll leave one in Africa just to go see it for myself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, those would be the spots that I'll drop them off.
How reckless would you be?
How reckless?
If you died, you could respawn. Restart. How reckless would you
Oh, I
be?
would die all the time. I would die all the time. I'm like, nigga, I'm literally getting bored of being here in Houston. Dead.
Mm.
Pick my next spawn spot.
Mm.
Go there, live my life there. Once shit go wrong, I go to jail, or like I'm on death row, or like niggas hunting me down. Dead.
So
I'm on to the next spot. I'm living with no restrictions.
Mm.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
If you give me that ability and I just respond every time I die, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want at any point of time that I want it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You won't be able to tell me shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nigga, I'm gonna die. First of all, I get to keep coming back.
Yeah.
Second of all, I get to keep traveling around the world as I'm doing it. So, yeah, I die all the time.
That's like you were saying. You gotta stop living life like fear. Basically, living life like stop living life with the fear of, you know, if it don't work, if I fail, if it don't happen, da. So we make it a fantasy because then we think in a fantasy you can respawn, or you have a fallback. Like these people aren't real and shit like that. So if they start all looking at you weird, you did something wrong, you failed, and it's not real. The reason people put it in the fantasy is to give themselves a fallback, and because if like they bring it to real life, not only are they not going to actually be able to do it and get those feelings, but they're scared to. It's the same way. A lot of people are scared of failure, but I think a lot more are afraid of success.
One more time.
I think a lot of people out here. I mean, yeah, a lot of people out here are afraid of failure, rejection, being told no. But what strikes the fear of a lot more people is success. It's getting that yes. Because when you do, you got to continue. A standard is set. You have to live up to it. And change comes. With success comes change. Because you can't do what you did before. When you're successful now, you got to keep doing better, improving.
Boys don't like change, boy.
Change is hard.
Yeah.
It's difficult. And in these fantasies, majority of the times, people's shit doesn't change. Their life is, what they think is the same. Like it's going to live this adventure and then do this, and do that. But there's not really much change in it. They're going to live that same life. And that shit's going to get old too. If you got in the Naruto world and then was traveling the world and then was fighting all these people and you get bored of that too. We're human beings. Just because we have different stimulus or different stimuli, different things are happening, doesn't mean it changes our human nature, that we want new stuff and that we want to be fulfilled and that we want to do things that make us feel like we're needed. And like, these are the core desires. These are the core needs of these people. To feel wanted, to feel needed, and to feel appreciated. All that around other people and within ourselves. And we feel like we can get them better inside of our fantasies. And then we don't pursue them, like I was saying before, because we feel like we fail, and that's it. We don't get response. I don't get to start over. And you have to start asking yourself, what would you do if you could respond, if you could start over? if you could, every time you fuck up, you can reload your checkpoint that you did right before you won. Like, you know, like before you get into a big boss battle, and you gotta like, it's like you quick save.
Yeah.
So you know if you're fucking up, you
can
go right back to that quick save, and keep trying over and over. If you can do that, how would you act? And that tells you what your actual desires are. That tells you how you actually want to live life, how you can actually get that adventure in life. But you're just too afraid to do it because you don't have that quick save button. I'm not saying go out here and jump off a building, just try to
do that.
Don't do shit that's gonna threaten your life.
We're not advertising that.
You're not absolutely.
We're not saying we are not advertising that.
These fantasies aren't real. It's not what I'm saying. You can pull parts of them and feelings and fulfillments from them into real life. And that comes with questioning what would you do in your fantasy, in this situation. That ideal person, how you act, that warrior that you are in your fantasy, whatever it is, how would they perceive? And why are you not doing it in your own life right now? And why would this person do it instead of you?
Honestly, bro, just gotta get up and know what you want. You know what I'm saying? And once you figure that out and everything, you might even have to write it out, you know, to figure this stuff out. But write down what you're doing right now, like what you got going on in your life, what you like about yourself, what you don't like about yourself. And then go to your fantasy bracket and list all the things that you wish that you could be doing or that you wish that you was, you know what I'm saying? And really sit there and look at it. Really sit there and look at it and be like, are these things in my fantasy bracket are things that I really can't do? Like, can I not be an astronaut? Can I not be the top scientist? Could I not be courageous? Could I not be polite? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just real life, sit there, write all these things down that you think that your fantasy life would be, and really start picking out the things that you can actually apply to your real life, that you can actually start going towards. That's the first step. That's the first goal. And then once you start doing that and start applying it to your real life, like you said, like we been saying, like we don't know the outcome. Honestly, you feel me? You could grab this one thing from your fantasy list, and it could go good for you, or it could go
wrong.
bad.
Everything gets fucked up.
You never know. But at least you done went through that part of the list. You check it off. You exit out, and now you know I don't need this in my life, or I need this in my life. You know what I'm saying? And that apply to everything in life. You feel me? But you got any closing remarks you want to give to the people?
No, I just emphasize the fact that sit down, and very important for you is to write it out. Write out who you are, kind of like identify your self-image. Who are you? Someone had to ask you that question. What do you look like? What are your values? Everything. What do you bring to the table? And then on the flip side of that, write who this fantasy character of you is. Who, if you were in an ideal situation, who would you be? How would you act? What would you do? And then compare the two and try to find out why there's a difference between the two, and if there actually has to be a difference between the two. And then you can start breaking that down, and that'll reveal a lot to you about your life and where you're going.
Facts. Well, appreciate y'all for tuning in another episode, Space in Between, the summer session, you know what I'm saying, the first of many. We're going to try to, get some type of form on track, but, you know what I'm saying, don't expect that we back to scheduling every week. We could miss a week, we could miss two, I don't really know. We might hit you with 2 episodes back to back in 2 days. I don't know, but it's the summer. It's the summer, you feel me? And we just out here living. We're going to get to y'all when we can, but you know what I'm saying? I just want to shout out to the people that listen to our podcast and everything, you know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it,
we in 4 different time zones, you know what I'm saying? Not time zone, but we in 4 different places on the map, you know what I'm saying? Of course, we got people in the United States listening to us, but we just checked, you know what I'm saying? We got people in the United Kingdom listening to us, people in Sweden listening to us, people in Spain listening to us.
Wherever y'all are, bro, I appreciate you.
Hey,
I don't know how y'all got this connect.
Don't know
how y'all figured us out.
But hey, we appreciate y'all. So, it's your boy Anthony, a.k.a. Dub, and I'm with my co-host.
Your boy Donovan, a.k.a. Dono.
And we sign out once again.
Peace.